All right, so we'll finish it up with the Washington Wizards, and I'll go player focused again here. My number is 59.6, which is Deni Avdija's true shooting percentage over 12 games in December. It's the highest career monthly mark he's posted yet since the first 5 games of his career last December. His defense has been the calling card to this point. It's what has enabled him to get more run within this surprisingly competitive Washington rotation. But the offense looks like it's starting to come around. The shots are looking a little more smooth, a little more confident. He's able to find the basket in transition. He's able to find some gaps within the half court set. If he is this player on offense and can move beyond being that Swiss Army knife who can fill so many different roles at an adequate level, then Washington's ceiling gets that much higher because it is still searching for that player who can join Bradley Beal in the star realm. And there are a lot of, really good role players, some of whom fill more significant roles than others. Do you think it's fair to say that Montrezl Harrell, as excellent as he's been, still probably a role player who kind of capitalizes against bench players? Daniel Gafford, that high energy guy who might not be scalable within a bigger role. If Avdija can be that number 2 in Washington, if Rui Hachimura can be that number 2 in Washington, then that team can ascend a little bit higher in the Eastern Conference hierarchy. And Avdija's recent performances make it more reasonable to think that he could be that guy.
Yeah, look, he's been magnificent on defense this year. I don't know how many times I'm going to say magnificent in this podcast. And if there's
maybe
just
more than I'll say nightmare.
Yeah. So, and if there is another gear there offensively to where he can maintain a higher level consistently, he becomes, could you argue that he's their most important long-term player right now? Because what the hell is going to happen with Bradley Beal Street? He's clearly their second. I don't want to be too hyperbolic. Beal has said that he wants to be there. So I'm not going to assume that he is going to be on the way out, but he's no worse, no lower than their second most important long-term player right now. And it's been a joy to see the progress that he's made. And I do think Russell Westbrook catches a lot of shit that I don't think he deserves. The Russell Westbrook discourse is so bad. There's people who are trying to overcompensate by saying he's been pretty good this year. He really hasn't. He's had high moments, but he hasn't been cool. The corner 3-point percentage, yes, he's getting a little bit more under control. It hasn't been a banner season for him. But then there are people who just think that he's the root of everything wrong with the Lakers. And aside from them consolidating a bunch of usable players into him, at least 2 usable players, I would say 3 because they had that first round pick, into his salary, the Lakers dumpster fire is not on him. I do think he kind of held Deni Avdija back a little bit last year, at least looking at it offensively. And so I'm more captivated and intrigued by Deni Avdija this season than I ever was at any point last season.
A totally fair take.